At this time, we're going to take up an agenda review. Today is Thursday, June 8th, 2023. This is an agenda review for the agenda for June 15th, 2023. I'd ask the clerk to call the roll.
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner O'Hara.
Here.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick here.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Here.
Commissioner Allenbrand.
Allenbrand, aye.
And Chairman Kelly.
I am here as well. All are present, and I'd ask that we start with reading number 1 into the record.
Item number 1, consider approving the May 25th, 2023 business session minutes.
Any questions? All right, how about item 2?
Consider authorizing an exception to competition and approving a service agreement renewal for respite care services with DCCCA Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for one additional 12-month contract period ending June 30th, 2024 per Administrative Policy and Procedure Number 110.180.A.16.
Mr. Fortney, welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tanner Fortney, Mental Health. So this is an annual contract that we bring before you usually about this time each year. It's for respite care services. Essentially what respite care services are, to kind of just refresh some of your memories, is it's designed as we have individuals, particularly children, that are have special needs. They have issues related to their mental illness and other conditions. And the caregivers, generally their parents, need to have what's called a respite from that. So essentially a break, if you will. And it allows the child to be able to go and usually stay in a foster home for a weekend, give them the ability to recover and recoup so that they can better follow appropriate treatment protocols and be refreshed so that they can help better take care of the child. We've used a number of providers in the past. We used to use Kids TLC as well as DECA. We also had another provider that was known as Bright Star for about a year that we used. Unfortunately, those other providers have withdrawn and they don't offer that service to us anymore, so DECA is the only one that we really have, and they're the only one that we're aware of in Johnson County that really offers the service. So the reason why it is an exception to competition, though, and again, we do that every year, it's really not so much an exception to competition in my view, it's really more of an exception to RFP, because we don't have an exclusive contract with anybody. If we approve this today and then let's say 3 months from now another provider decided they wanted to get into that market, we would have no problems with coming back with yet another exception to competition and contracting with them, provided of course they meet the standards of care that would be required and we would be able to afford it based on our Medicaid billing rates. So it's not an exclusive contract by doing that. So the rates have not changed from previous years. Those are holding steady, and I put those into the briefing sheet. And as I mentioned, these are funded through Medicare billing dollars. The way it works is we actually bill Medicaid as the origination site, and then we pay the provider on that hourly basis for that time. And it's really a break-even service for us because our contract rate with them equates to the Medicaid reimbursement rate cost. So with that, I'll be happy to answer questions.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Fortney. I just have a couple questions. What are the qualifications to be eligible to receive these respite services?
Well, it depends. It's usually clinical evaluates the child, and it depends on their condition. And then they're able to, if they qualify for that service, then they're able to go and be, usually they'll be received by DECA or any other provider. And the way the service itself works is, in some instances, like when we used to work with Kids TLC, they actually had an in-house area called their Phoenix Sanctuary where they actually brought the children in to be able to do it on site. With the case of DECA, they actually use foster care providers that are licensed and trained to be able to do that. And that's a big part of what DECA does, is help train and get them certified to do that.
I appreciate that. Follow-up on that is there a particular age limit or a diagnosis limit? I'm assuming it has to be a mental health issue. And the reason I ask this is I know that there have been questions in terms of what kind of respite services are available for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And in previous conversations, my understanding is this program does not serve those folks. It's strictly for children of certain ages with mental health diagnosis. Is that correct?
For what we do, that's correct. There is respite care services for like kids with autism, for example. Of course, there's also respite care for seniors and elderly adults that are receiving other care activities. So respite care is kind of a more broad encompassing term, but we're focusing on our clients at mental health that would have a diagnosable mental illness.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Ashcraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Hanslick, to build on something, I thought this is where you were going to go, but I was just wondering if the community were to lose the services of DECA, what would we do?
Well, right now, we would not really have a viable option. We would probably not be able to provide those services. What I would mention to you in terms of the capacity right now is the demand for those type of services far exceeds the supply. Right now, we have about 2 to 5 kids that are able to actually get into this sort of service. We have 2 that are on a pretty regular basis receiving it. But our staff have identified we have about 50 children actually that are clients of ours that really need the service, but there just simply aren't enough foster families. And before COVID, there were a lot more, although there was still a shortage, but they're just not there now. And as I mentioned earlier, Kids TLC used to have their Phoenix Sanctuary. They don't do it anymore, and Bright Star Care, a few years ago, I think it was actually last year, they got out of the business because they didn't have the staffing or the resources to do it. So it's very difficult to find anyone to do this, and it's a very, very short supply service.
Commissioner Allenbrand?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, to me, this is just a matter of, getting everything in line. I know that I'm familiar with TLC, and I know they don't have the space anymore, and I'm also familiar with Bright Star and not having enough staff. When my daughter was ill, their private duty. So I am in shock that you're able to negotiate and keep the prices the same and not really go up. So this is just a matter of putting everything in place. Is this going to stay on consent?
Unless there's an objection. Okay. Thank you, Tanner.
Thank you.
Next, would the clerk read item number 3?
IFB number 2023-024, consider authorizing a contract with Phillips Site Work Incorporated for the NCADC Pond Sediment Removal and Disposal Project located at 27745 West 159th Street, New Century, Kansas, 66031, in the amount of $329,175.78.
Tony Barron is here from he's the Director of Facilities Management to discuss this item. That's part of the 2023 Capital Improvement Program. Mr. Barron.
Thank you, Chairman Kelly. Yes, this is just a routine maintenance item that we have going on between the Operations Center and the New Century Adult Detention Center. The pond was constructed in 1997, had one maintenance provided on it in 2006. And today what we're seeing is we have a very shallow retention pond and it needs to be dredged again. So this just allows us to do our part for the environment. As you know, well, many of you know what a retention pond does. Helps contain floodwaters and also filters any type of environmental issues that may go into our streams, lakes, and rivers. So with that said, we put the bid out, and as you can see, we had 12 firms who attended the pre-bid meeting and 4 responsive bids, which are listed below you. We had a base bid plus an alternate bid just because we were unsure of the cost. As you, on the second page of this, we note that the construction probable cost was approximately $367,000. Thankfully, the base bid and the alternate came in at a total of $329,000. I will answer any questions that you may have about this project.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Barron, not too long ago, the Parks Department came forward with some similar dredging of Heritage Park Lake Pond. Do we ever consider coordinating that and looking for economies of scale to help with price competitions?
At this time, Commissioner Ashcraft, I'm not aware of any coordination, but I'd be happy to reach out to them and see if there's future projects we could do that on.
Well, the water may have already been spilt on this one, but I was just wondering if between departments we do that. So thank you.
Yep. Yes.
Any questions, further questions, comments on this one? Objections to consent on this one?
I want it on action.
Any further questions on this one?
Not now.
Okay. Then we'll see this on action. How about item number 4?
Request for proposal, RFP number 2023-010. Consider authorizing a contract with Trinity Services Group Incorporated for a school food service management program at a cost not to exceed $316,000 for a period of 1 year with the option to renew for an additional 4 one-year renewal periods.
Ellen Hawks is here from the Department of Corrections to discuss this matter. Welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Kelly. Yes, I'm Ellen Hawks, Director of the Juvenile Services Center, bringing before you the briefing sheet for our request to authorize contract with Trinity Food Services to provide meals for the youth located at the Johnson County Juvenile Detention Center. I saw hands.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Hawks, have you been before us before?
I have, sir, yes.
Okay, I just don't remember. I apologize. Welcome back. I do have a number of questions. Maybe we could visit before next week.
Sure.
And discuss.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hanslick and Commissioner Myers.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say I appreciated in the briefing sheet the thorough information about the purchasing process. And I especially appreciated the comparison of what it would cost to go to a standalone provider like Hy-Vee as opposed to this contract, and that it definitely is less expensive. So I appreciate that information.
Thank you.
Commissioner Myers.
I'm just wondering what our cost was on the last contract compared to this one.
I believe our last contract was very similar in price, and then the reimbursements were the same, were for the 40 beds that were authorized for.
So only one respondent, but it was approved, reviewed by the KSDE, and within the budgetary estimated cost. Further questions, comments? Okay, I imagine we'll keep this one on action for next week. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would the clerk read item number 5?
Resolution number 046-23, hold a public hearing and consider adopting resolution number 046-23 to consolidate the Northwest and Southwest Consolidated Zoning Boards into the West Consolidated Zoning Board and establish the qualifications and appointment process of members to the West Consolidated Zoning Board.
Thank you very much. Mr. Leipzig is here to discuss an item on which we've already had a committee of the whole. Mr. Leipzig, would you like to be able to take this one and the next one together?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Jay Leipzig, Planning, Housing, and Community Development Director.
If that's the
prefer,
case-
we could even, if the PowerPoint is consistent with what we had shown to you during our committee of the whole on April 27th.
Okay.
So with that, I'd be able to, the 3 items can be considered together. In the resolution, it is noted that this would begin, resolution, or this change would become effective on August 1st.
Okay. Well, why don't we have the clerk read items 6 and 7, and then we can just take them all and questions that may arise because of the nature of the items that may overlap. So if the clerk would read 6 and 7, please.
Item number 6, resolution number 047-23, consider adopting resolution number 047-23 to rename the Southeast Consolidated Zoning Board to the East Consolidated Zoning Board and establish the qualifications and an appointment process of members to the East Consolidated Zoning Board. And item number 7, resolution number 045-23, consider adopting resolution number 045-23 to establish the qualifications and appointment process of members to the Johnson County Planning Commission.
Very good. Mr. Leipzig.
Mr. Chairman, just to note that, yes, this consolidates the Northwest Consolidated Zoning Board and the Southwest Consolidated Zoning Board and creates the West Consolidated Zoning Board. It would include 7 members. 4 would be would be appointed by the commissioner in that district, 3 from the chair. And then the next item is the is the renaming of the Southeast Consolidated Zoning Board into the East Consolidated Zoning Board, with the same parameters of 4 members being appointed from, or nominated from that district commissioner, as well as 3 from the chair. And then the last item, which would go into effect on August 1st, and the last item is for the nomination process for the planning commission members, which would still be retained at 12 members, 9 from the unincorporated area, and 3 from the incorporated area.
Thank you, Mr. Leipzig. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off if you had anything further to say.
No, I was just trying to keep it as short as I can if there are additional questions.
Appreciate that. Commissioner O'Hara.
Thank you. Mr. Leipzig, how many years had the district commissioner had the sole responsibility of appointing board members for the zoning boards?
Commissioner O'Hara, I'm not sure. I know that the zoning boards have been, even looking back, I think in the mid-'80s, I believe, in terms of the enabling resolutions, but I don't know the exact answer to that question. Be happy
So
to research
it's
that.
been at least 20 years?
It's been a long time.
Okay. So as I voiced before, I have a lot of concerns.
Commissioner, just for clarification, we don't know that for a fact of when process changed. We can't say it's been 20 years. It appears to me from a report in '07 or '08, we may have been doing it one way, we changed it. We just don't know. So I can't say for sure that it's always been done this way. Obviously, it wasn't, because we had a resolution we repealed when you adopted the rules of order. So just for clarification, it's been uncertain.
It's been many, many, many years, and the
I
and the
can say
folks
since
and the
you've
good-
been a commissioner, we
and the
have
good
done it
folks
that way.
of the rural areas, they are concerned about this power grab, and I have requested a simple solution to give the district commissioner the authority to appoint 5 and 2 to the chair. I mean, this is a huge change, and in my district, people are very upset about it, because this is just it's, in their opinion, in my opinion too, it's a power grab.
Thank you for
And
that
again,
opinion.
I will be offering an amendment for a compromise to have the chair appoint 2 and the district commissioner appoint 5. So I will have that available and ready for next week's meeting.
We can appreciate if you want to try that again. We had that amendment come forward during the committee of the whole that did not pass, and I think one of the reasons it did not is because that establishes a supermajority, and on planning and zoning issues, sometimes a supermajority is required, and having all the commissioner be the appointments who develop and then appoint a supermajority would preclude from the idea of compromise or balance that is part of the rationale for the resolutions that we are considering. But you're welcome to try that again at the next meeting. Again, and I want to allow Commissioner Allenbrand to talk, because she's the one that's given up the most appointments with this consolidation, so.
Well, Mr. Chair, I do want to share, and I can share them with Ms. Trent, but I was given, and I think it might have been from Chairman Eilard, but I've got some past, and it specifically has on those that the chairman had made those appointments. And from what I'm assuming, and I didn't have, because they also went in Charlotte's district, they had 2 zoning boards and they went to 1, and I think maybe that's when it happened. And, in the unincorporated, I'm sorry. In the unincorporated area, there has been, with the trustees and the unincorporated area shrinking, it's difficult to find people to serve. And so I appreciate opening this up a little bit more. And also just having some diversity on those zoning boards and the planning board, I think that helps make it more fair. Not that it hasn't been fair, because I really appreciate all the time and effort that everyone has put into being on zoning boards and planning, but they're also asking for some relief. If you take a look at this, not only the planning and, the staff, the time that your staff's putting into all these meetings and the amount of money that goes into staff working, I mean, this is a solution that's in other boards and other positions, this is the way it's done. And I feel that, I've given the chair some recommendations for appointments, and he's accepted them. Not always will he, but I feel like I have an open door to him and to give him some reasons why I would like to have someone nominated for that. So I appreciate that open door. This is going to be, just making the changes, but I'm willing to put the work forward to make the changes. So I have no objections to this.
And I appreciate that the chair is also elected in both the 3rd and the 6th district, and I've had conversations with several of our constituents in the unincorporated area that understand the need for streamlining a process that is efficient and effective moving forward, that's in the interest of our county for the 21st century and not the last. And so I appreciate the support that we have from various pockets of people throughout Johnson County for these resolutions, which I'll be supporting. Commissioner Hansa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I go back to what, I'm sorry, Commissioner Myers mentioned in terms of balance. And as the chair mentioned, the county is changing. And I can't remember the exact numbers, but the land area of the unincorporated area is shrinking and the population is shrinking. And I think more and more decisions made by the Planning Commission and the zoning boards, but by the Planning Commission, need to reflect the entire county's needs and perspectives. And so I think that the proposed changes are very much in keeping with that approach to balance and appropriate representation. And so I'm very supportive of this change.
Commissioner Ashcraft, you had a process question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Leipzig, on item number 7, were there different generations of briefing sheets, or was there just one? Because I received 2 different ones, and I couldn't find out if they were the same or if there was a change.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner, for pointing it out. On item number 7, there was a typographical error on it was correct in the PowerPoint, it's correct in other places throughout the briefing sheet, but there was a small correction that was needed on the appointment for the Planning Commission about, it was just one sentence on the second to the last paragraph on the first page. And so, just to know, I appreciate Commissioner Fast had mentioned that correction that needed to be made.
Very good. She's
That's why
very
it was
tenacious
additional.
about that. But just a process suggestion, when you do that, if you could note it's a different item, I mean, in case there's a substantive change, rather than trying to read through there and catch a typographical error, which may or may not be, I mean, administratively, that would be helpful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate that, Commissioner.
Appreciate it. Commissioner O'Hara?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with the consolidation. I totally agree with that. I have not had any issues of getting people to serve on the zoning board. I have had amazing people willing to take the time to serve. The rural community feels like it's under siege now, especially in my area. 199th Street, the truck traffic, the wrecks that are occurring, and that this board is unwilling to ban the trucks east of 169 as they have west of 169. It's just that this would be a small compromise, and it would make it more palatable to the good folks in my district. But like I said, I do not oppose the consolidation, especially in it's the west and the northwest, and there just has not been much activity up around in the northwest area. That may change, but I agree that the consolidation makes sense.
Commissioner Allenbrand.
Well, I do want to clarify is that the consolidation, the two different zoning boards, they didn't follow suit with each other. So they were limited to trustees, and there are some finding trustees and finding those positions. Some of the people don't even own the property anymore or passed away. So this is going to open up the unincorporated area. And the other thing is on the planning. I think it's important because when I first got elected, I looked at the map, and you look at, areas that are affected. You have Leawood, Overland Park, DeSoto, Gardner, Edgerton. Those cities are also surrounding the planning. So having other people involved I think is real key because it affects their purse line as well. So I feel like that's important.
Appreciate
So
that.
I will support it.
Do you have other questions? or-
Yes, I have just a quick response.
A
I'm not-
question. I mean, we can debate this for
Well,
hours.
but I am not asking to change the staff's recommendation on the planning commission. It's the zoning boards.
And it's understood, and we've heard it twice. If you have a question for Jay, we can continue with questions on the items.
My question being, I just wanted to clarify to the board that I was not opposing the planning commission's composition as recommended by the staff. So
Thank you. Okay.
you're very welcome.
And we're at 12:50 at this point, Jay. Thank you very much. We'll see these items on action for next week. We have an executive session that is going to take a half an hour. Before we do that, well, first of all, let's go ahead and adjourn agenda review. We're adjourned at 12:50.